Hey guys, it's John Rapp. It's Takeover Tuesday here at the Paddle and Fin Podcast. Let's do this.
You're watching the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Welcome to the Rusty Hook Podcast, presented by Feelfree Kayaks. Paddle, pedal, or power, there's something for everyone. ZPRO Lithium, serious power for serious anglers. DuBro Fishing, American marine application and soft plastics. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom bait maker. Raw and unfiltered. Streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Bringing you gear reviews and candid interviews from the industry's best. Angler profiles, tournament news, and legendary knowledge from kayak fishing's best. Grab that cold drink and get settled in. Now here's John Rapp, our host.
Oh yeah, gotta love a little rock and roll on a Tuesday night. Kicking off the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast here on the Paddle and Fin Podcast network of shows. Hey, we're streaming live via Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We're hitting all the platforms tonight. Got a great lineup for you. Got a couple of guys here that trying to make it large. They are large in the industry, kicking it. But great dudes. My good friend and partner in crime, Chris Payne, won't be on tonight. Hope he's feeling a little bit better later. But we do have a good show. I'm actually bringing on Dan from Georgia. I was on his show last week. We did about a 4-hour show in about 45 minutes. I'll let him explain that to you here in a little bit. And then follow up with Dan, we're bringing on Roy from Virginia Beach. He is from the other side of the Virginias. So we're going to bring him on and let him talk about his venture. I think a lot of you guys out there have seen what he's been kicking up in the dust out there, and he's bringing back some old school stuff in a new format, old format, new format, however you want to look at it. It's just a good way for us to get information, share knowledge and love of the sport. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Dan from Georgia and let him introduce himself. Hey, buddy, Dan, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me on, John. How are you tonight?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. Me and Uncle Mike's Lemonade, we're talking, kicking back and relaxing a little bit. And that was not a plug. I am not sponsored by Uncle Mike, but, he does like to hang out here at the old man cave here at the Rapp House. So, but anyway, how about you down in Georgia? Did you guys get any snow today?
Heck no, man. It don't snow down here, but it's about blue moon about every 10 years.
Yeah, man. I woke up this morning surprised to see 2 inches out there after yesterday was in the high mid-50s. I was like, wow.
Man, let me tell you, the state of Georgia would come to a standstill if it snowed right now.
I believe it.
It was 61 degrees today, so with about a 20-mile-an-hour wind. So
that's good, man. I'm looking forward to spring. You got the chance to get out on the water yet?
It's been a couple weeks, John. I'm down here sipping on hot tea because I've caught a head cold here recently, and
that's right.
And but yeah, I'm fighting through it, and we'll work through it and try to hope to get on the water hopefully this weekend. The 16th, 17th is my weekend off. So,
well, guys and gals out there, if you've been out on the water and you're catching fish, let us know how you're doing and what you're doing. See, we got another Georgia boy up. Hey, Walt, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in and being interactive with us. So, yeah, Dan, man. So funny how you and I we met. It's so cool. We met via Facebook. We got to talking about some different products, and then when we got to talking to each other, we found out that our histories are, they ran the same course just in different states. Both of us are in the the garbage disposal business, and we've worked really hard to clean up the streets in our time out in the real world. So, tell me, man, what do you do? Is what is it that you do? And tell us a little bit about you, your socials, and why you kayak fish.
Okay. Well, John, like you said, but we've both been in the world of law enforcement for 20 plus years. I'm working on my 27th year now. I work in the Savannah area near the coast, so that is my area down there. How I got into kayak fishing, man, it's kind of a weird type of story, but I used to fish in the bass boat world in a local club here. I've fished all my life. I've never fished tournament style fishing until probably about 7-8 years ago. Started fishing with the bass boat club, and then, being a co-angler, you really look at yourself going, okay, do I really want to be a co-angler, or do I want to be the head man in charge with the boat controls?
Yeah, I understand that. I learned my lesson real quick with that world.
Yeah.
So,
and just budget wise, that's the point that, people ask me, well, why didn't you stay in the bass boat world, just buy you a bass boat? So, well, it's what you can afford as a person, and as a family. You have to take care of your family first. And so I talked to my wife, and I started watching YouTube videos like everybody else does. I saw Chad Hoover. I reached out to Chad. Chad grew up in Savannah. A lot of people don't know that. So we sat there and talked through text messaging, and so I bought my first kayak, and then Chad said, well, why don't you start a club? So I talked it over with my wife. I said, you know what, we don't really have a freshwater club down this way in kayak fishing, because everything's towards the coast here is saltwater related.
right.
So I started up Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing, the SCG KBF brand, and it's been in existence for about 3 years now, going on the 4th year. And this year is really I'm digging into it as far as getting, I've run some online stuff through Tourney X. Dwayne Whaley is a fantastic guy.
Without a doubt, man.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
If I have a question, I can text him or call him, and he'll pick up the phone. He's just a great businessman. So started fishing this club stuff, and then my wife used to run a blog, and she said, well, why don't you write about your fishing experiences? Start yourself a blog too. And
cool.
So I started writing my blog, and then it goes from there, John. It really does. It this year, we're putting on a Georgia Tour kayak series, which is the whole state of Georgia, but certain locations. Hosting a kayak nationwide series as well. I know a lot of anglers don't like to fish online stuff because it does get a little fishy. You get a northern guy in your series, he can't compete with the southern guys because the fish just don't get that big.
Yeah. Back in the day, they tried to do stuff when KBF was young, and tried to do if you were in West Virginia and you were fishing an event, you would get +3 versus a guy in Florida or Georgia. So if you caught a 16-inch fish, it would be worth 19 or something like that. It was experimental. They gave it a shot. It didn't work out. But I was looking at Chad put out something about what he's working on for 2025, and I saw the South region has West Virginia in it, and I'm like, there's no way we can compete with the South region. I mean,
Yeah, and I also run another podcast. I run the Main Contain Fishing podcast as well, and my co-host on there, Mike Hansen, Being Outdoors, is his YouTube channel. he kind of got with me and said, "Hey, why don't you start a northern series for northern guys?" So I said, "Well, I've already got everything set up on Tourney X. I can just plug that in and just kind of let him be the main manager, but kind of let him oversee, get people on board." And
so what is that? What is that event? Well, what series is that?
That will be. It'll be the Northeast. Is it Northeast or the North? The North tour. It's all on my website at segkbf.com. So, but yeah, that's how I got into kayak fishing, and that's where I'm going with everything. I'm on my back end of my years of close to retirement, even though I got 14 more years to go. I'm young, I'm only 50, so I'm still young and kicking. So I'll give it as long as I can. I try to get out of it for about 8 to 9 months there, and then you just can't get it out your blood. You got to go back to it.
So is this the page you're talking about here?
Yes. Yeah. If you go into the tournament information tab, down below there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, that has all the tournament series for 2024 on the website. So that's the nationwide series.
There you go, folks. Take a look at that. Got a couple of them already up there for February and for March. If you're in the southeast region where there's fish biting and there's no ice covering your water, you might want to jump in and see what you can do there. So
yeah, and also we got a Weekend Warrior series as well, John. It kicks off the 17th and 18th. This is actually a 2-day. It's kind of a low buy-in with a low payout, depending on how many anglers. But it's kind of like a get your feet wet type tournament type style.
Right.
Just for people who work during the middle of the week and just want to kind of, hey, I do want to compete.
There you go.
Yeah. So
that's $28 entry fee. That's reasonable.
Yeah. And that's what I set it up for is for anglers who can't fish the big stuff and who just want to get their feet wet in the kayak tournaments and have a little bit of competition with other anglers nationwide.
Cool, man. Well, hey, hang tight here a second, brother, because I want to talk. We're talking about tournaments now, and I want to remind folks that we've got a tournament that we're doing over at Del Holla here, and it's going to be a great event. And I'd love to see a bunch of the Georgia folks. A couple of years ago, we had a nice crew from Georgia come up when they were doing the Battle of the Clubs back 3 years ago. But take a look at this and see what you guys think. It's Del Holla event that Paddle and Fin's putting on. Now I'm going to show a graphic to you guys here. It's going to be it's 15 seconds. Have your pen or pencil write down or screenshot this. This has got the phone number to reserve your rooms out at the Paddle and Fin at Eastport Marina. It's 931-797-5064. Ask for Richard. You can see the houseboats there on the water. That's where you'll stay, right there. 20 rooms left. We've already got one of those filled up. It's going to be a good time. I hope everybody will come out and hang out with us. Out in the middle of God's country, nowhere. So. But anyway, man, hey, speaking of God's country and out in the middle of nowhere, and folks, I wished you could have seen what me and Dan got to watch while we were playing this little clip, because our boy in the background was jamming. But we're going to bring on our good buddy Roy here, and me and Dan are going to talk to him and pick his brain on what he's building in the background there with the USA Kayak Fishing Magazine. Roy, welcome to the show, bro. Rusty Hook.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Cheers, man. So, we got you down on the bottom. You're in the hot seat of the show. Roy's on the bottom. Dan's on the right. John's on the top left. Guys, hit that chat button. Ask your questions. Let's quiz Roy, and let's learn about what he's doing. So, Roy, introduce yourself. Tell everybody about your socials, where they can find you, and we'll go from there, brother.
My name is Roy. I'm the owner of USA Kayak Fishing Magazine. All of my socials are USA Kayak Fishing or USA Kayak Fishing Magazine. And I'm pretty much on every platform.
Nice. So we can find you on Twitter too?
Yes, I'm on there. I don't use it very much.
Yeah, I've gotten really bad about using mine too, man. I stream the show on there weekly, but I used to put photographs and fish, and I do a lot of reels and put them on there. I need to get better at it.
I'm more Instagram and TikTok. It's a pretty big fishing community on TikTok. I know that people here, they think of dancing teenagers, but there's a lot of bait makers and stuff on there. I've met some really good people there.
Speaking of which, the gentleman that is not making it tonight, Chris Payne, has a huge following on TikTok where he builds his custom plastics for Big Lake Bait Company. He does really well there. I don't have TikTok. I've just never broke down and built one. I figured I've got a Twitch account, which nobody watches, but I stream. And I mean, well, it's either that or chicks that you can bounce a quarter off their belly about 20 times. I mean, 3% body fat and goodness, but it's ridiculous. Yes. Okay, Roy, U.S. Kayak Fishing Magazine, you got a episode, or not episode, but an edition getting ready to be published in March. Can you give us a little prelude or a little hint about what you got going on there?
So we had a local team that went to Alabama, and they won the Kayak Bass Series championship, and the team championship. And I reached out to them, and I've got an interview with the team as well as each individual person, giving their breakdown of. So prelude, when I did my first email blast, I asked what people wanted to see. They wanted to see more of the everyday Joe, what they did, how they got there, and what it took to get where they are, no matter where they are. So I have questions about what was your one thing you wish you knew before you started, because everyone is like that, hindsight 2020. You know, what was your favorite lure, type of fishing? You know, what was your high, your low? You're gonna love my angler profile that I'll do here in a short bit. Then, won't you? I do a video series on that. I get guys to send me their answers on that. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I've got it broke down with those. Yeah. And then we have Daniel is a reoccurring contributor. He's got an article in there. And we've reached out to the Women's Fishing Federation, and they have an article in there as well. And I've asked them, and they've agreed to tentatively to be a recurring contributor, one of the female anglers every single issue. So
cool. Yeah, Susie's part of the Paddle and Fin. She done the Noobs tournament, but Susie Roloff she's one hell of a big name in the women's federation movement. She's going to be doing their podcasts twice a month, I believe. So that'll be a good thing to see there.
I'm a frequent commenter on their podcast.
Good.
Yeah. So in this issue, we have a interview with Patrick Solverholm. He's the director of the Heroes on the Water Tidewater. So just a little background on him. And another thing that I've obligated the magazine to is that some form or fashion, every single issue will have a nod to Heroes on the Water, because that's an organization that I love. It's local. I can take my kids to it. They can help and contribute, give back. They're just really, really good people.
I mean, disabled veteran here, bro. I believe I'm glad that we have that type of thing going on.
yes. I'm not
here,
former military, but when I went there, they welcome you and they joke with you like you are, which is good. They pull no punches, which is beautiful. So you sort of feel like part of the crew when somebody throws jabs at you. So,
well, I mean, if you're not having fun, what you're doing, something's not right. And that's one thing that I always tell people: if I'm not joking with you, then I probably don't like you.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, you talking about the veteran stuff, and that's kayak fishing has really got into that form, that way with veterans, past law enforcement, first responders to help cope with their stress or their other things that's happened in their life that they've seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're streaming on True Patriot Outdoors right now, which is a veterans page, out in Colorado. So, I mean, Gene does a great job with that organization. He just put out some information on the people that are supporting him and that organization for 2024. So, guys, make sure you go look up Gene's page at True Patriot Outdoors and follow and like that. And, of course, Dan's page and Roy's page. Go like and follow us. Doesn't hurt to hit that little like button and help your fellow and friends out there. So
most definitely. Yeah. So I would say with the magazine, it's been great to give a little exposure to them. Not that, because when I went, they were telling me that their biggest at Heroes on the Water, their biggest problem was people just knowing about them. Like they have the ability to accommodate more people if they just had more people. So anytime I see anyone, my first question is, are you in the military or a veteran? Do you like to fish? Bam. And I try to send them all that way.
Right.
So
that's good.
Yeah, I think Clay Ragsdale does something too as far as veterans too, doesn't he, John?
I know who he is, but I'm not familiar with what all the stuff he's involved in.
Yeah, he's a Georgia boy as well, I think.
Okay.
But I think he does something as far as veterans, law enforcement, first responder stuff too. And
cool. There's so many entities there that are involved, and it's almost they need to they need to network and work more together to spread their. I mean, the goal is all the same, is to give veterans a place to decompress and find a little bit more level footing in the realities they are now compared to where they were in a combat zone. So, and that's the one thing that Dan and I, when we were talking earlier, Roy, both of us have been in law enforcement. I did 29 years. He's in his 25th, 26th year. A lot of things that we saw here stateside, people have no clue. I mean, being a former West Virginia state trooper, I could be writing a speeding ticket in 1 minute and then be working a murder scene the next. I wasn't a highway patrolman like some states have that only cruise highways and write tickets. West Virginia, you're law enforcement.
You all the hats.
Everything, the social worker, the first responder, the medic. I worked in a county where I was the only trooper that worked evening shift and covered a 60-mile area. So I could be writing a ticket on one side of the county and get a call for a burglary or a domestic in progress or a car wreck 50 miles away, and it'd take me an hour to get there. I mean, so it's ridiculous.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, you talked about, let's just do this while I'm thinking of it, boys. Roy mentioned something about an angler profile and stuff that he does with his magazine. Well, I do something sort of similar here. And I need to update this. I was actually looking at it tonight. I'm going to bring on some new meat. But first, I'm just going to go ahead and show you my good buddy Rick Garavaglia and let him talk about his favorites and how he got started.
Favorite fishery? My favorite fisheries here in West Virginia are Stonewall Jackson Lake and Burnsville Lake. I seem to do pretty well on both of those. Favorite lake overall, though, has been Lake Murray down in South Carolina. That's been really good to me as far as the tournament scene goes. My favorite fishing technique? That would be really anything power fishing. I think that the crankbaits seem to be what's been really good to me as well, and what I tend to start fishing with. But really anything power fishing, anything moving, anything real aggressive. I really don't like slowing down all that much. Fun fishing with someone. The people that I really love fun fishing with is Storm and Phil. And of course, Bunny's along on that a lot, and now Sierra. So those are the people that I really enjoy fun fishing with. Least favorite technique would be dead sticking. Just throwing it out there and just leaving it set really drives me crazy. Coming from a catfishing perspective, that may seem a little strange, but and I like moving. I like my power fishing. I admire the most. It's really tough on the pro side of things. When you look at outspoken Christians like Ott Defoe, Edwin Evers, of course the late Aaron Martins, those are all guys that I look up a lot to for using their platform as fishermen to make people's lives better. And on the kayak side, I'd have to say Matt Ball. I really want to spend some time with him and learn some things from him and see how that would go. So Matt Ball would be the pro kayak side that I would like to learn from. When did I learn to fish? As a kid, there's all kind of memories I had of fishing with all sorts of family members. But the thing I remember the most, learning how to tie knots and everything, was with my grandpa. I called him Pap. Catfishing a lot during the day, during the night. But that's where I learned the most about fishing. My greatest accomplishment in kayak fishing is right here on the wall behind me. I first place finished my first KBF Trail Series event. Won that event down at Lake Murray. And then the very following year, following that up with an 8th place finish. I think that's a pretty decent accomplishment for just being in kayak fishing for 4 years now.
So that's my good buddy Rick Garvalia up here in the middle of West Virginia. Guys, gals, I appreciate y'all hanging out with us for the first half of the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. Definitely want to keep you guys entertained. I want to throw a quick break at you here real quick. We'll be back in about 26 seconds, and we'll start the second half of the show.
Feelfree Kayaks. Paddle, pedal, or power. Something for everyone. DuBro Fishing. Marine products for fresh or saltwater adventures. ZPRO Lithium. Serious power for serious anglers. Big Lake Bait Company. Texas's #1 custom soft plastics.
Okay, so we're back for the second half of the show. I've got Roy and Dan on in the background, and about 6 to 8 of you have been watching. I want you guys to hit that comment button, and let's work Roy over real good and find out what he's got coming out for this next edition of the U.S. Kayak Fishing Magazine. Welcome back, fellas.
Thank you.
I hope you were able to take care of all the naughty business while we were on a little break there.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Hey, all right. This is a Rusty Hook After Dark, boys and girls. You know, the podcast of podcasts. So, if you guys haven't paid any attention or figured out what we're talking about yet, we're talking with the owner of the USA Kayak Fishing Magazine And this is it right here. I pulled up their website, and I want you guys to see what pops up when you get there. Simple. Go subscribe for free. Fill out that information and get notified when Roy has got something going on. You can even check out that latest issue. So make sure you go subscribe, check out the Kayak Fishing Magazine page, get involved, get on that, get to where you can help Roy grow this magazine. It benefits all of us in the kayak fishing world.
Most definitely. I appreciate that. Yeah. So a lot of people are sending me stuff to contribute, and a lot of people don't realize is I built everything myself as far as the layout. I've had some great contributors like Daniel and things like that. But even the website, I built the website myself because, if you want something done, you got to do it.
Ain't that the truth? That's the truth. So it looks like you got someone that bit on that hook that we just lent out there.
Okay.
Oh, well, it looks like someone should give us some shout out. Hey, Jason, what's going on, Big Daddy? Is that my boy Jason Denise? I believe it is.
No, that's Jason Starley. That's Jason Starley.
Another Georgia boy. Yeah, no doubt, man.
He's a South Georgia hammer, I think.
He's a national hammer.
Yeah.
Roy, if you go look at Jason's stuff, he's won some. He won the big charity event last year. It had over huge amount of people that back in February of this time last year, wasn't it?
I believe so. Jeff
the little boy that had cancer. I think it was like 450 or 350 people that entered that event.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a hammer, no doubt. So Roy, you've talked a little bit about how you've got contributors. So what topics are your contributors like feeding you information on? They cover a lot of gear reviews or clothing or all the above, kayaks. What are we looking at here?
So my general request is basically whatever you're into. So when someone says, "What are you looking for?" I'm like, "Well, what are your interests? Because more than likely, as a kayak angler, whatever they're into, someone else wants to hear about. So
right.
If they are big into modifying their kayak, then someone out there might want to hear that. So I just basically, whatever you want to submit to me, I'll look at it, we'll tweak it, and we'll go on. So I'm not at the point where I'm necessarily requesting certain types. This one that's coming out in March 1st is going to be more of a tournament centric, but there are articles in there from there's one about you, there's one about Patrick, but the main draw for this one is the Kayak Bass Team Series champions, the Norfolk Privateers. So it goes into them heavily so you can learn.
Okay. So is that KBT? Is that the Brad Case's organization? Is that that group that he runs out of?
This one is.
Is it the team series?
Yes, the Kayak Bass Team Series.
Yeah, it's okay. I believe Brad runs that. Yeah, I believe so. Or he's
point of contact that I spoke to. The other thing that I've talked to so many people that my head sort of gets scrambled around names. So when I'm trying to keep track of, I have like a Rolodex of people like, okay, all right. So.
Yeah. And look at this here. This is awesome news shared by Jason. It was the tournament for Rory, Jeff Mallett's granddaughter, and he's happy to report she's cancer-free as of several months back. That's outstanding. Amen. And keep praying for that little girl because no matter what, the road ahead is going to be long and hard. So Exactly, Jason.
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about there. Yeah. Formerly the Kayak Fishing League. So
Yeah, I've heard good stuff about that KBT stuff. You know,
yeah, I mean,
I think it's a good format. You know?
the concept is awful. I mean, is awesome because of the fact that you can bring, 4 or 5 to 8 guys on a team, and then take your top 4. If it's like it was with KFL, if it's the same format, I considered putting the team together. I just, like Dan, like we were talking about last Thursday, I don't want to run club events anymore. I don't want to be involved in that. I want to just be free to go. If I want to drive down and hang out with you down on the coast for 3 or 4 days, or go over and hang out with Roy, because I can definitely go to Roy's. My son-in-law or stepson and daughter-in-law live right there at Virginia Beach. We were just there in October visiting them. So, but yeah, I mean,
we don't want to get in the photo studio. My day job, I own a portrait studio.
Man, I don't want to break your camera. Shoot, I can barely keep my cameras rolling.
I got Photoshop. Every picture I take about 10 pounds off.
I like that. Wait, let me check. Oh, hey Dan, I did it, man. I did hit that live stream button. We're not like.
Hey. I saw that earlier. I was like, man, I know we're not 36 minutes in, not going live.
I thought all Daniels were postponed.
Long story short,
there, John.
Yeah, guys, we did a show with Dan's crew last Thursday. We were just having a great time, and we thought we were live for like 20 minutes, and got a message that
we weren't. My technical people didn't go live.
So what? I think it has something to do, maybe, with that coffee cup in the background. If you weren't such a, what, maybe we would have been live.
He's talking about that coffee cup right there. I don't want to get you demonetized, John. So I'll keep up on this show.
Guys, you'll have to screenshot and zoom, or as the Super Trooper guys would say, enhance.
Yeah.
Enhance.
Nice.
Meow.
Mac, I really need this. Hell. So, all right, guys, let's see some comments. What do you guys want us to ask Roy? Roy, you're going to have to start speaking into that mic and telling us what you're putting out, man. Come on, Big Daddy.
So, upcoming issues. So right now we're on a quarterly, so we're coming out every quarter, and my goal is after the next issue, not the March issue. After the June issue, I would love to go to bi-monthly, and then for 25, go to monthly. Because, like right now, in my opinion, I know that there's too much of a gap between issue and issue, but I can't physically do everything to make it monthly. So my goal is to progress it to at least bi-monthly, and then monthly was my end goal. And after the March issue, Mike McKinstry is going to be on the cover of the next one, and he's going to be inside with an article about how he started on YouTube to making it to where he is.
Yeah, so, Mike. Mike's part of my Feelfree Fishing team. Mm-hmm. He's sponsored with us, and his show is pretty awesome. And to watch where he's came from to where he is now has just been remarkable. The guy works, and he works hard. And kudos to Mike. I mean, I think
he's a good person too. That's a. A lot of people in this industry are good people, but I get more of a focus on someone when I'm doing an article on them or talking to them about something. And there's a lot of things that he does that flies under the radar that people don't really know he's doing. So,
yeah.
And just continually looking for contributors for the upcoming magazines. So if anybody has anything they want to share, how to do something.
Do you have it broke down by regions? Like, do you have a where you can guys can go look at stuff like for the like we were talking about how KBF has 5 regions, and the South region. If you wanted to go into a region like what do we throw on the New River in West Virginia? What are the 5 successful baits? Or if I'm going to turn around, because my style of fishing up here is so different from what I have to go do when I go fish down at Dan's. I mean, I went to Texas back in the early part of January and went fishing with 5 guys there. It was amazing. One of the guys, I believe, if we took him out on the 8-lane highway with a mud hole the size of a pothole full of water, he could catch a 20-inch largemouth out of it. He was just amazing. I mean, especially if he had electronics and a shaky head. I mean, he would drop it in there, he'd catch fish. But
so right now I don't have it broken down by region. Excuse me. But I welcome anyone, like if you realize that there's something missing that you want to see, you might be the one to contribute that, or you could recommend, say, hey, I want to learn how to do this. And then I can potentially start looking for people in your area who want to contribute that to the magazine. Eventually, when it grows, that would be a beautiful thing to have. It's broken down by region, broken down by all sorts of things. But right now, if I did regions, my wife would divorce me.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
Some of us aren't lucky enough to have someone that was in the marketing field and can do all that kind of blog stuff and write well and stuff. Like some guys in the top right corner of this. But
I have to say, my wife is good to me. She's a stay-at-home mom. We got the last one's in college now, so she kind of takes care of him but yeah, she can
come on.
She can
come
do
on.
it.
Come on, brother. Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, she helps me out a lot. She set up my website for me. She redone that. But yeah, she works with her business too. But she also helps me out 100%.
She replies to emails like that.
Oh, let me tell you, Roy, she used to work for, I'll go ahead and say it, John. I didn't say it on that other podcast, but I'll say it here. She worked for Gulfstream Aerospace.
Yeah.
And she was in corporate communications, and she worked for the main boss there. And you had to be spot on with that company, or they'll
lose a contract or something there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I thought I was getting a kickback when I hit enter. It's like, bing! Like, whoa, it didn't go through. No, it's her.
Yeah. So
well, it sounds like we're all fortunate. We've got good women in our lives. So
yeah.
So going forward, I mean, as far as what's planned for the magazine, my whole thing is basically continuing to make connections, relationships, try to get through to people so they can see that I'm a real person.
Right.
I tell everyone I started this because I wanted to go fishing and tell my wife I'm going to work. And that's really what my goal is. I want to provide something that everyone wants to read, but eventually I'll be able to go snakehead fishing with my buddy in Maryland, or come down to, hang out with Daniel, stuff like that. I mean, I've got a trailer. It's loaded up, ready to roll. So I just need to get to a point where I can make it happen. So.
Yeah, well, that will, and it's good. Like we were talking pre-roll, it's good for you to get out to and let people see you and meet you and see that you're a real person and that you have a genuine interest in the sport and sharing the love of kayak fishing and growing the sport. Because there's no doubt that if you're presenting and providing an avenue for people to talk about it, it's going to grow it. I mean.
So, Roy, do you have a plan maybe to go to ICAST or somewhere like that in the near future?
Maybe. I mean, that would be lovely. But my son is a swimmer, and we just paid for him to go to Junior Olympics. So we fly into Texas so he can swim doing water polo. So maybe this year, maybe not. We'll see. I mean, we're getting advertisers coming in, and we've got some great advertising partners. Yak Mods came on, and Bixby has been really great with contributing. ZPRO, they're not advertising contributor, but they have been a great source of information. Speaking with them, Brenda. I was talking to Brenda, and she was like,
Okay.
"You should do this if you want to listen to me." And I was like, "What?" So I had great conversations with her. So ZPRO has been a beautiful, beautiful interaction for me. So we haven't come to an agreement with anything as far as advertising, but I will not recommend them.
Yeah, in a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Brenda's old school, and she's going to be watching you. And if she's
I
watching
need somebody to watch me. I need.
Yeah, Jason's right.
Yeah.
You should go down. If you don't,
Yes.
if you don't go as a vendor, get someone to give you a media pass. I don't think they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And the other good thing, Roy, is that I went down with DuBro Fishing last year,
Mm-hmm.
and we set up a area within DuBro, and we did podcasts for Paddle and Fin every hour on the hour. Went around, drug people over, but they had an area set up just for media to interview and do things like that. I would highly suggest that you get a media pass and go down for a day or two.
Right.
So many people are down there. You could probably share costs with people. And share a room or something and go.
Yeah,
So.
it's just it's really an odd situation right now with doing everything myself. If I take time away from anything, I'm always thinking to myself, all right, did I put Daniel's pictures in? Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I? Yeah. I'm sitting at home talking to my wife thinking, oh man, did I do that layout? Because I mean, like the first issue, I built that. It took me 3 months to build to get it laid out proper. And my biggest fear was if I present something to the kayaking community and it looks like a homeowner's newsletter, it's going to be crap. So
right.
I'm like, I mean, people don't realize how much
first
time,
impressions. Yeah, first impressions. Yeah.
So it was really nice when people who are respectable in the community, they're like, it looks like a real magazine, and I'm like, okay. Thank you. Yes, that's what I was for.
Yeah.
When it comes to issues, people start to get more confidence in it because it has to show that it's a repeatable magazine. It's got to show that it's relevant. It has great content, and that's what I'm really going for. So I'm in for the long haul. I just need people to in for the long haul.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense.
Because like when I reached out to you the first time, you're like, who's this dude? I'm like, oh, you got to build rapport. I got to keep going at it, and eventually, where you.
Yeah,
that's how I got married.
I was like, I don't know Roy Widgeon. I've never heard that name in this industry. So
well,
done my web research. Who is it?
Craig Brashears.
I can't put a name with the face.
Well, he's with like Yak Attack, and he's in the community, and I know him, and I took photos of him for something. He's like, how many people call me and ask me if you're like a real person? I'm glad you're here, buddy. I really appreciate you. Yeah. Yeah. So
well, it's it goes back to my daily work life. Everybody's being scammed nowadays, and you can,
most
and I hate to say it, you can't trust nobody nowadays, but
that's the truth. Well, I'm glad that we were able to bring you on here and broadcast you through a few media pages so people could see you are not a robot. That but you dance like one when I throw up that jam. I was watching you. But
oh yeah, I'm a wedding photographer too. This dance is fire at like 12:30 when everybody's drunk.
That's right.
Lots of reviews. He can dance. No, he cannot.
So. Hey, Daniel. Now there's something that we need to cut up and use for a promo later.
Yeah, there you go.
You could. You have my permission.
We got Roy on there doing some.
Yeah. We knew he was crazy. He was doing the robot. Wouldn't answer questions. Yeah.
So hey, on the magazine, do you have like I know as you're growing and you get more contributors and you'll have so many overflows, like you this episode you had so much for this episode, one article wasn't able to get in, you told somebody that hey, you'll be in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not growing, you're not saying this is a 150 page magazine, that's what it's going to stay at. It's not going to be 155 pages to fit in extra content. It'll get your stuff wrote, become a contributor, and like you said, I can turn around and move it from a quarterly to a biannual or even a monthly if people get the info or the data and the photos and the ads and things like that to you.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so as long as I have people on board, and I can just build that Rolodex of contributors and let them know that they are going to be in at some point, then that's what I'm going to shoot for.
Cool. Again, folks, I just want to pull up the website. I haven't pulled up the Facebook pages or any of these other media pages. Roy can, again, tell you those links. It's really simple. I think he said it was all US Kayak Magazine
USA Fishing.
So, yeah. So go hit those like buttons, but make sure you go hit and subscribe right here for free on the website and become a member of that. And again, don't forget about let's see.
And just to really quickly with the all the social platforms, right now we're doing a giveaway that has less than 20 hours. We have a full Guardian Angel light set. It's the remote controlled Guardian Angel light with a stern mount and a suction cup bow mount. That's going to be, it's a drawing, 18 hours and 50 minutes left. So
go get in there and get in on that. But don't forget about our boy here too. He's got, it's segkbf.com. It's got his mission statement, contact blog, YouTube, and down there, as we showed earlier in the show, he's got tournament information, sponsorship information, stuff like that. Go check out those two web pages, folks. Like, follow, and subscribe. Keep these guys busy.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, I appreciate y'all spending the last hour plus with me here on the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. God bless you. I wish you nothing but success, and stay safe always.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Roy, one more time. Shoot your shout out with all your socials, how they can reach you. Oh, that too. You could do that. I am Roy, and you can reach me.
Yeah, so that you can reach me through Facebook, Instagram, or even TikTok at USA Kayak Fishing, or through the website. Has a contact information on there as well.
Cool. Dan?
You can find me personally at Daniel Woodcock on my personal Facebook page, but everything else, if you type in Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing, YouTube, Facebook group, Facebook page, Twitter. Excuse me, X.
X. Yeah.
Twitter, it's not Twitter no more. And catch us. We do a podcast on Main Contained Fishing podcast every other Thursday night. That next air will be February 22nd. And we'll have Josh Sharp from Bass and Beer.
Nice. And if you guys get on there, and if it doesn't kick off on time, send him a message, because he may have failed to hit the live button. IG. You on the IG too, right?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram as well. Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing. I forgot that one. Got so much going on. So
Jason's got you back. Yeah, Jason's got you back. All right, guys. Again, thank you all for coming on, hanging out, laughing with me a little bit, making the Tuesday night. Just a great night for here at the Rusty Hook and Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Be blessed. I wish you nothing but the best, and let's do this again soon.
Awesome.
Sir will, sir.
All right. God bless you. All right, guys. I appreciate you all hanging out with me here tonight on the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. Remember, hit that like, follow, and subscribe button to this page, Paddle and Fin, all the pages that we're streaming on. And go check out these guys, Dan and Roy. Hit their pages up, likes, follows. Looking forward to seeing the USA Kayak Fishing Magazine in March. I know that you'll see maybe something there about the Rusty Hook. Maybe, I don't know if Roy made this episode or not. The only way you'll find out is if you subscribe and take a look. Anyway, it's still cold outside. We got snow on the ground up here and in the Northeast. If you're fishing, always wear appropriate clothing. Guys, never forget your PFD. Always be safe, and provide your family with a plan when they can expect you home, when you're going out, and where you'll be. It's John Rapp. Nothing but love. Be blessed, and look for us again next Tuesday night.